guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is Friday, July 12th, and it is 4:24 p.m. Eastern Time. Now I do apologize for not posting yesterday. My air conditioner went out yesterday afternoon and it was sweltering hot and I was so miserable that I just couldn't do it. I couldn't even think straight hardly. But anyway, I am coming to you now, and they came to fix my air conditioner really early this morning, so that's good. And what we're going to be doing is, there were two posts from yesterday that we're going to attack first. We're going to do those two posts. This is going to be a very short video. Then while that's uploading, I'm going to record another video containing the posts from today. Then, Lord willing, I'm getting an early start, so I should be able to. We're going to look at Q-related news because there's so much happening in the news that is related. So that's what we're going to do. That's the plan of action. So let's get started. I hope everyone's doing well. And let's just jump right in here. And we'll go up to the one from not today, but yesterday. All right. So this was from July 11th. And Q is making reference to his post from July 10th. And it says, only anons can fully appreciate the continued validations, confirmations through covert series of mathematical impossible coincidences means in order to maintain structural integrity. Then he put wheels up, Q. Now, when I was talking about this, not yesterday, but the day before, I didn't really know what this meant, because this particular post, even though it's contained in the July 11th post, is from July 10th. And we had discussed wheels up, and of course everybody knows that's an aviation terms for after you take off and you get to a certain height, the wheels go up. And you know, I wondered if it meant we're taking off and we're putting the wheels up and we're on our way. But now thinking more about it, that doesn't make sense, and I'll tell you why. Because it's bolded and it's in brackets. It's in kill brackets. Why would just a random saying be in kill brackets? Well, because with Q, things have many, many meanings. There is always layered meanings in Q's posts, and this is no different. Wheels Up is actually the name of an aviation company. Yes, that services the elite, and I'm looking further into that angle and seeing what I can find out about it. But I do believe that that's what Q is directing us to here. So I will continue to look further into that and get back to you. Then he leaves a link to someone's Twitter page and says, now, what are the odds of that, Q? Well, to tell you the truth, when I went out to look at this, what this person was pointing to was very, very familiar to me because I looked into it a great deal. It's not new, this information, but let me just show you here, and then we'll talk about it for a minute. Trump just retweeted an account dropped by QAnon whose name is Save the Littles. Their cover photo is of two children from an interview here, and we are going to listen to this interview. It's only a very short clip of the overall interview, but it's 2.5 minutes, so we are going to play that. And it says, talking about secret pedo and human sacrifice rings being exposed, dark to light. Now, when you come down here, this is the picture, and there's two children, and it says, Papa kills babies, secret UK pedophile ring is being exposed. Now, this is not new. It's been on Twitter for, or not on Twitter, but on YouTube for a very long time. And there's a lot more information. And in fact, if you Google, we dance with the skulls in the church, if you Google that phrase, well, maybe don't Google it, because you know how Google is suppressing all this stuff right now. There is intense censorship. So go to DuckDuckGo or whatever other search engine. Just be sure that it's not Google or any of the mainstream ones, and type in "We Dance with the Skulls in the Church," and you will find a very long thread on a forum called GLP, Godlike Forums, Godlike Productions, the forum. And now, forgive me, I don't agree with everything that goes on in that forum at all, but they do at times have some good information on there. You have to wade through a lot of crap, a lot of racist crap, and everything else. But if you Google that, you'll be able to get right to that thread. And there is really interesting information on that thread. It went for a very long time. And there's also other information out there on YouTube about this if it hasn't been scrubbed. So we're going to go and take a look at this. And these two children were taken away from their father, who was accused of being part of a pedophile ring. And but unfortunately, from what I understand in following up with this, they're back with their father because their father had enough money and enough influence to influence the judge, who might have been part of it, who knows. So they are back with their father, and they're quite a bit older now, but it's not a good thing. So just kind of steel yourself, because this is just a small clip. But if you watch the whole thing, it will literally turn your stomach what these kids have been through. And notice that they're talking about it just as if it's every day, and this is what we did, and this, so let's look.
We decided to stop touching each other.
This is very low here. And I'm wondering if I can get it up further, but I can't because everything's up to the max. But hopefully you'll be able to hear this. If not, you can look here and, search for it yourself in YouTube.
Each other and stop touching ourselves.
What else are you going to stop doing?
And stop touching ourselves. And stop touching ourselves.
What else are you going to stop?
And stop killing babies. And stop killing babies. And we have to face our fear, face our urge.
See, these children have been taken away from the father, and they're being interviewed, and I'm not sure if they're being interviewed by a caseworker or who, but they're asking the children, what are you going to stop doing? And they say, we're going to stop touching other people, we're going to stop touching ourselves, we're going to stop touching each other. What else are you going to stop doing? We're going to stop killing babies. And just matter-of-factly.
You're going to face your fear. Because fear is what?
Fear is the money.
You're going to help us to catch who you're going to help us to catch?
All the people. Papa, Mr. Williams, school.
All the policemen, all the
Think about
socials.
And the guy is saying, are you going to help us catch all these? And she says, yes, catch all, and then she starts naming them, like Papa, she calls her father. And there's a woman named Hollingsworth, there's the police. I mean, there's a lot of people involved in this ring.
Services.
Speak up, speak up.
All the shopkeepers, all the cafes, all the pizza McDonald's.
Who did you mention just now? Who, Cap, what?
Did you hear what he said? All the pizza inspections. And they're saying who, like who is involved? Yeah, we're going to help catch all these people, all the shop owners, because there's shop owners involved. The school is involved. And she says all the pizza inspections. I don't know what that is, but it's interesting in light of what we know now, because when I listened to this, there was no such thing as PIZZA or ZZA in America, ZZA here in Canada, but there was no such thing as that gate back when I listened to that. So you can tell how long ago I heard this.
Kafkas.
Who's Kafkas?
You know, the people who work at Kafkas.
What is Kafkas?
Because they're for children. They work with the social services.
What did they do to you?
So they're saying calf, I guess. I don't know what they're saying. And they said, who is that? And they said, well, they work with social services.
They touch me. They're plastic bullies. And sticking out plastic.
They touch her with plastic, WILLIES.
Does who sticks it in your mouth?
Social services. Everybody does.
Who?
Everybody.
Does your mother do it?
No.
Do I do it?
No.
Who does it then?
Papa, Mr. Molly, the school.
Who?
My
Parents.
dad's
Tell me
dad's
some more
family.
people. Tell me some more people, please. I'm interested.
Parents, police.
What about the teachers at school? Who's the main one?
Papa, Mr. Hollins, Mr. Forsyth.
Who's Mrs. Forsyth?
She's the head
Mr. Hollins, Mrs. Forsyth, these are the people at the school that's involved, including their father.
teacher of our school.
And what does she do?
And she does sex. She got a big tattoo on her thigh.
What happens in the church?
And we do baby sacrifice and eat the baby.
What do you mean sacrifice and eat the baby?
So we kill the baby and eat it and drink the blood with it.
Is that true, Gabriel?
Yes. And we dance with the skulls.
You what?
We dance with the skulls in the church.
What skulls?
Skulls of the baby.
Pardon?
The skulls of the baby.
You dance with the baby skulls. And who kills the baby?
Papa, me, and Lisa. And so
Now, I want you to pay attention to this. He says, who kills the babies? And he says, Papa, me, and Lisa. And she has this expression of terror on her face, and she whispers to him, you're not supposed to say that. They're not wanting to implicate themselves because they've probably been told, if you tell anyone, you're going to be guilty too. And I know that that is quite common because when I was in social work, I had a run-in with a satanic cult and learned everything that I ever wanted to know about them and about what they do and everything else. It was an education I never asked for or wanted, but there I was thrown into it. So that is very common. What they do is they, for example, the client that I had, they had told him that they made him put his hand on the person that was doing the stabbing, and then they said, if you tell, you'll go to jail because you did it too. So yeah, so this is very common, but I want you to catch the expression on this little girl's face, okay? Just going to take it back just a little bit.
What skulls?
skull of the baby.
Pardon?
The skulls of the baby.
You dance with the baby skulls. And who kills the baby?
Papa, me, and Lisa.
Now, watch her expression here, okay? Papa, me, and Lisa. And watch her expression.
And so
Who kills the babies?
Papa.
Then when they ask him again, at first they say, he says, Papa, me, and Lisa. And then she gets this look of horror on her face and she says, you're not supposed to say that, or something to that effect. And then he asks, who kills the babies? And they say, Papa. I thought, to me, this shows me, I believe these children are telling the truth, and I did when I saw this.
What, he gets you to help him?
Yes. So he tells us to hold the hand in the knife, and then he holds his hand on our hand.
See, and she explains exactly what happened to my social work client, the guy that I represented or whatever, and they did the same thing. Got him to put his hand over the hilt of the knife, or what is that called? The whatever, and then they got him to help them, although he really wasn't. He just had his hand over their hand. And then they said, well, you better not tell anybody. And even when I was questioning him, he kept saying, I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to go to jail. He really believed he was going to go to jail because that's what they had told them.
So then he cuts the baby's head off. And he took it upside down and then he drained the blood.
They cut the head off, turn it upside down, drain the blood.
And then what they do?
And then we cook it, and then we drink the blood, and then after we
So and he says, well, then afterwards, what do you do? And she said, well, we after the blood's drained, they drink it, they eat the body, and they dance with the skulls. So this is pretty horrendous, and it's interesting that Q linked to it. I don't think Q is going to link to a couple of kids making something up. Don't think so. So that is something that you can look into further. I hesitate to do that because of censorship, and I don't want to lose my channel because then I can't bring you anything. I would suggest that if that's something that you're interested in and you want to look into, then you can do so, because it is out there at this time anyway. It may be scrubbed, or it may already have been scrubbed. I hope not. So yeah, but I will warn you, it's extremely sickening. It's very sickening, and if it doesn't upset you, then I'm a little worried about you. So you may or may not want to look into it. I'm just warning you. All right, now let's go back. So Q links to this and says, you know, what are the odds of that? And I think what he's pointing out is, okay, these things that we're hearing about Epstein and the things that go on, you know, people are incredulous about that. It's like, what? You know, those people that are just waking up, of course, we have heard this before because we've been following Q, but for those that haven't, this is like, what? No, that can't be. But the more of this we hear, the more statistically impossible it could be that all these people are just making it up. And, you know, we've all heard stories like this from that these little kids. Now, this is the most horrific one I have heard of personally, but there's stories out there coming from kids that really don't have, I don't know, I mean, something, okay, let's just say they were making it up. Well, there's something really wrong with those kids to be making that stuff up, really, seriously. So one way or another, those kids are in a dangerous situation, because where would they be learning this? All right, I happen to believe them though, and they are very realistic when you see them interviewed, like in full, not just an impromptu interview by the side of a truck, but or a van, but when you actually see them sit down and interviewed, very, very, very convincing. All right, and here is the, no, actually, that is the, is that the, I guess it is. Was there only one post? I guess there was. I thought there was 2 posts, and I might be missing something here. So let me go back to Q and make sure, because I don't want us to miss anything. We're getting into a place where it's extremely important. Okay, this, I guess, yes, I thought I had put that in there, but I haven't. And now this was the first one. So we're just going to backtrack a little. This was the first post from July 11th, and this was the second post. And let's go out and take a look at this. For some reason, I didn't copy it into my... Now, it says, R. Kelly, arrested in Chicago on federal child pornography charges, faces New York City indictment also. Now, we're going to listen to this.
The Northern District of Illinois. Hold up a second. Hold up.
At the Trump Tower yesterday.
Any questions?
I
I was not at Trump Towers.
said we was at Trump
I wasn't
Tower
there.
yesterday.
Sorry.
Okay, so come on. I ain't moved nobody.
No, you a part of his camp, right?
I'm not a part of any camp.
Why are you speaking for him right now?
Hold on a second. Let me explain something to you right
Are
quick.
you speaking for
Let
him
me
right
explain
now?
something to you right quick, because I'm not going to allow you to come in and interrupt my press conference. Y'all coming at me as if I have your daughter. I'm not, hold up a second. I'm not a part of any camp. I am.
Now, let's just, I don't know really what was going on there, but let's see. What to know, singer R. Kelly, I don't even know who that is, so Shows you. Has been arrested in Chicago on federal sex crime charges. According to two law enforcement officials, the 52-year-old was arrested by New York Police Department detectives and Homeland Security investigations agents on sex crime charges, officials tell News 4. The R&B star has been the subject of different sexual abuse allegations for nearly 2 decades, with some alleged acts dating back to 1998. Update, R. Kelly indicted in New York City on federal kidnapping, racketeering, and child sex charges. Read the full court document here. Singer R. Kelly was arrested on federal charges Thursday night, nearly 5 months after he was released on bail for additional sexual abuse charges brought by Illinois prosecutors. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office said the 52-year-old was arrested in Chicago by Homeland Security investigations agents and New York Police Department Public Safety Task Force. Officials knew News 4 R. Kelly had stepped out for a smoke and to walk his dog when he was taken into custody around 7 p.m. local time, a law enforcement source familiar with the case said. He was being held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, according to the Federal Prisons Bureau website. Stephen Greenberg, an attorney for Kelly, confirmed Thursday's arrest, adding the agents were courteous and professional, as was Mr. Kelly. The conduct alleged appears to largely be the same as the conduct previously alleges against Mr. Kelly in his current state indictment and his former state charges that he was acquitted of. Greenberg said most, if not all, of the conduct alleged is decades old. There are separate federal indictments filed in both Chicago and Brooklyn, and no victim overlap in the cases, authorities said. Kelly made his initial court appearance Thursday night and faces another hearing Friday relating to his extradition to New York City to face the additional charges. An indictment unsealed in the Eastern District of New York Friday charges him with racketeering, kidnapping, forced labor, and sexual exploitation of a child. A 13-count indictment was handed down Thursday in federal court for the Northern District of Illinois and includes charges of child pornography, enticement of a minor, and obstruction of justice. Greenberg said Kelly already has a team of outstanding federal litigators and was not surprised by the new charges. He and his lawyers look forward to his day in court, to the truth coming out, and to his vindication from what has been an unprecedented assault by others for their own personal gain. Most importantly, he looks forward to being able to continue making wonderful music and perform for his legions of fans that believe him. A bail hearing will be held next week, at which time Greenberg says Kelly hopes to be released from custody. Federal prosecutors said in a detention memo filed in Illinois Friday that Kelly should be granted no bail pending trial. The singer's crisis manager, Daryl Johnson, said his legal team was expecting the indictment to happen, but he doesn't know what the charges are yet. Kelly, whose legal name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, was in high spirits as he awaited his trial, according to Johnson. Mr. Kelly has declared his innocence from day one, said Johnson. Don't they all? Who said, now, granted, everyone deserves their day in court, but just about everyone always says they're guilty. It's a rare person that when charged says, yep, I did it. So I've seen nothing, and I do mean nothing, that would lead to any type of guilt. Andrea Kelly, the singer's ex-wife, had no comment following the arrest, her rep said. The 52-year-old had been the subject of different sexual abuse allegations for nearly 2 decades, with some of the alleged acts dating back to 1998. Back in February, Kelly was charged with aggravated sexual abuse involving 4 women, 3 of whom were minors when the alleged abuse occurred. He pleaded not guilty and was released from Chicago's Cook County Jail after posting bail. A jury in 2008 acquitted Kelly of child pornography charges stemming from a video showing him having sex with a girl as young as 13. Prosecutors claimed at the time Kelly faced 15 years in prison for that charge, but the young woman in that claim denied it was her and did not testify. She was probably scared to. So that's that. We see all this stuff happening simultaneously. There seems to be, these people are coming down rapidly, one after another. And I mean, if you look at the amount of, of indictments for sex trafficking and all those types of child pornography, all that, they have risen. I don't know what the percentage is, but when you look at it next to Obama's, how many were indicted under Obama, it's like astronomical. I mean, Trump's administration, the arrests and indictments have been astronomical. So that is that, and that concludes the Q post for yesterday, and we're going to stop the video here, and I'm going to continue on with the Q posts from today. So I hope to see you guys back, and I'll see you real soon.